Hey there, it's Brittany, and I'm back with the July Curated Bead box, and July's theme is Pastel Paradise. So it's still June, and we already have July's box, so I'm pretty excited. Let's see what's in it. The last two videos I've done for them, or for this box, I should say, I've made some items right after unboxing, and that seems to get you guys motivated to use your box. So I think we'll keep doing that. Let's see what's in this one. And just as a recap, bead sizes and types may vary due to availability. All the items are available on dollarbead.com using their model numbers, which are on the box. If you need to know what those are, you can just kind of pause it and write them down. And each box also contains a finding starter kit, including crimp beads, elastic, beading wire, memory wire, head pins, jump rings, ear wires, and lobster clasps. So, this is a great box, I think, for anybody, but certainly for beginners, and it's a great stash builder. I mean, I can't even remember. The last box had a ton of strands in it. So, and the cool thing is, once you're finished with, or, you know, if you don't have really storage yet, you can keep them in the boxes, and it labels, and it tells you what's in it. So, I'm going to put my box to the side so I can see, and then we'll kind of just go through it. So the first thing is 12mm pale plum faceted glass beads. And I think, yep, that's these. So I don't know if you can tell. I'm going to put a bead mat down and see if you can tell. Yeah, these are a little bit more purple when they're on the bead mat. Let's see, I have another bead mat too. Yeah, the blue's fine. So, these are like the green beads we got last month for the June box, but you know, they're purple. They're like a smoky purple. Next is 12mm deep aqua jade style glass beads. So they're glass, but they are like in the style of gemstones. So they're kind of like simulated gemstones. They're a little, you can kind of see through them. They're translucent. So they're not clear glass. These are a beautiful teal. They're a little bit deeper color than they're showing in the camera. Next we have 10mm violet glass pearl beads. And these are really pretty. This is a really good purple. Very vibrant purple. Next 10mm labradorite duo style glass bead. I'm almost positive it's these. So they're calling them labradorite duo style glass beads. So I would see like labradorite can be that gray color, but then we have some veining. It almost looks more of like a quartz or a dyed agate to me, but it is glass, just so you know, it's all glass. Very cool. Then we have 8mm deep aqua faceted glass beads. These are really pretty. I don't know if I have any this color, but these are really nice. I really like these. So far, I think there's some pretty beads already, but I think these are already my favorite so far. Then we have 6mm silver jade style glass bead. I think this is what they're calling that. So these look like jade, but they're glass and they're silver or gray. Those are really nice too. Then we have 6mm pink jade gemstone style glass bead. So again, simulated gemstone, it's like crackled glass. It's a bubblegum pink. It's a nice like unicorn color box almost. Then we have 6mm rose quartz gemstone bead. This is a 7.5-inch string. So these are actually gemstones. They're not glass. They're not simulated. Very pretty. I love rose quartz, and I don't get to use it as much. I have a lot of it. I just don't remember to use it because I go towards turquoises and things like that. Then we have 4mm turquoise gemstone bead string. And I don't know if this is magnesite. It's probably dyed magnesite. It could be turquoise. I'm not sure. But they're very cute. I love how little those are. And I like the white and the veining through them. Then we have a 4mm purple antiqued vintage style glass bead. So these are a little like metallic. They're vintage-y. And just as a reminder, this box is $20 with shipping. included. And then you can get 35% off of your first box by using the code TURQST35. So that's your first box. Then we have 46 by 20 millimeter Birds on a Branch silver metal pendant. And we have 2 of those. That's cute. So you could potentially make a necklace and a bracelet. Very cute. And you can even, if you wanted to, you could obtain that, or you can put a rhinestone in their eyes. Very cute. So you get 2 of those. And then we have a 10 millimeter etched silver metal spacer bead. And okay, so we have 2 of those. One is 3 beads, so that would be this one. Those are pretty cool. I don't have any spacer beads that look like that. I like those. Then we have a 5-piece 10 millimeter silver etched spacer bead. Very cute little flowers etched on there. And it's kind of like a pinched coin shape. And then we have a 6 millimeter flower metal spacer bead. 10 beads. Very cool. I don't have any of those style spacer beads. I like those. Okay, and then on top of all those beads, we have the findings kit, which so far, the 3 months that I've had this box, it is always silver, but I don't know that it's always silver. Just the 3 boxes that I've gotten have been silver. So we have elastic cord. We have beading wire. We have memory wire. We have head pins, earring wires, jump rings, clasps, and crimps. Okay, so let's get started. Let's make something. I'm gonna kind of look at what I've got and make a couple things. Okay, so the first thing I want to make is a necklace, and I'm just going to use mostly things from this box. I'm going to obviously use the pendant that came in the box today. I'm going to use these teal glass beads and these purple vintage style beads. And I am going to add in a little bit of stuff. I have these Toho seed beads. So it's going to be a really simple pattern, but I think it'll be fun. And I also will need to use the crimp beads, jump ring, and clasp. So I'm going to start by, and we'll need the beading wire too. So I'm going to start by crimping the beading wire onto one side of our pendant. And I'm going to do that without cutting our wire first, just because I want to save as much wire as I can, because I have one other project planned with the beading wire. So I'm going to take a crimp bead. For this project, I'll need 4 crimp beads, 2 for the front, 2 for the back. I'm going to take a crimp bead, string it on my wire, take my wire and string it on directly onto our pendant, and then we'll come back through our crimp bead. You can flat crimp, you can folded crimp. Just make sure when you crimp, you don't crimp your wires while they're crossed. Okay, take my crimping pliers and move that back down and smoosh. And then I'll turn it 90 degrees and then move it up the crimping pliers. If you do have this one was a little bit messy, it's gonna hold, but if you have a crimp cover, I would really suggest you to cover it. Normally in the back it doesn't really matter, but sometimes you don't really want to see that crimp in the front. Otherwise you can flat crimp it and it's gonna be a little bit less messy. However, I think if I start, depends on which bead you start with, you might be able to hide your crimp in that bead. So let me start with a turquoise or teal bead. See if we can hide it. If not, I'm just going to get a crimp cover. Again, crimp covers are totally optional. Yeah, I can't cover it, so I'm not going to start with this. I'll just get a crimp cover later and do that. I am going to spill out a couple of my seed beads, or well, more than a couple. And I'm going to open my purple strand. Move this stuff out of the way for now. Okay, I'm going to start with a seed bead. And then a purple bead. I don't know if you guys can hear that cricket in the background, but the crickets here drive me nuts. I'm basically going to add a seed bead after each bead that I string. It's going to give it a nice definition between the beads. So, I mean, I really want I want the beads to be focused, a focus. So separating them like that, you can see each bead a little bit better than you would next to each other. Okay, I'm going to do that for several inches up the necklace. Okay, so I've beaded up one side of the necklace and it's looking really cute. Don't worry about that tail right there. We'll fix that. I'm going to fix that right now. I don't think the wire will go through the seed bead twice. Oh, it didn't work earlier when I did this on a different necklace, but it worked today. So we'll just slip that through a few beads. And then I'll snip my wire later. And then I'm going to go ahead and crimp on to, let's see, this will be the left side of the necklace. So I'm going to crimp onto a jump ring. We'll grab a crimp bead. And I'm actually going to flat crimp this because I'm going to cover it with a crimp cover. So I will go ahead and put that through my jump ring and then come back down through my crimp bead and find a couple beads at the end of the necklace to come back through. And I know it's a really long piece. You can cut it down to size if that's what you want to do. But like I said, I'm trying to save as much wire as possible so I can finish this project and one other. Okay. Remember, we don't want to do this in a straight line. I know you guys are probably sick of hearing me say that. All right. Okay. And if you can't really hold on with your fingers, hold on with your pliers to the jump ring so you can get a better grip. There we go. I curled my wire a little bit because it's I was pulling a little tight, but if you take your time, that probably won't happen. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and flat crimp that. And then I'll go ahead and add on a crimp cover later. I'm going to cut as closely to this bead as possible. And I will trim this bead, or this tail. All right, so our necklace is half finished, and you can always add chain onto the back if you want it to be a longer necklace, but it's really cute. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here is our necklace, and I did end up finishing it off with some crimp covers over the crimps. I ended up flat crimping throughout the rest of the necklace. It's very lightweight, and there's not going to be too much stress on those crimps. But I do love how those seed beads gives it the necklace a little bit extra oomph than it would with putting just the beads next to each other. You can also use bead caps, spacer beads, whatever you want, but it almost looks not knotted, but segmented like a knotted necklace would. So here is our first piece, and I'll do glamour shots later, but I just thought cute, simple, quick, right? So, okay, there's our first piece. And then the next thing we're gonna do is make a pair of earrings, and that's why I wanted to save the rest of the wire. I am gonna use some of the turquoise strand that they included. I need 21 beads. So I'm just gonna take them off the strand. I'm gonna take some of that leftover wire, and some of it's curly, so I'm just gonna snip that a little bit. And I'm going to put one aside. I'm just gonna choose one at random. I'm just gonna choose that one, put it aside, and then I'm going to string the rest. Okay, I have my 20 beads strung. I'm going to put my two ends together, and then I'm going to string both of those ends through my 21st bead. Okay, and then we're going to bring that down, and then that'll form a little teardrop shape. Now you will see that there's going to be a little bit of a gap there. If we just pull pretty tightly, it's just gonna be tiny. It's not gonna be huge. And I'm gonna set that aside. And then I also have what is called a clamshell or a culotte. Okay, and I'm going to take this. Obviously wasn't in the kit, but that's the only thing in this earring that really wasn't in the kit. I'm going to take a crimp bead, and I'm going to take my clamshell, and I'm going to stick these two ends through my clamshell. And then I'm going to stick these two ends through my crimp. And then I'm going to flat crimp that, but I'm going to make sure that I kind of pull on my wires to get that to be, now we don't need this to be loosey-goosey. I know I say that on literally everything else. We don't need the earring to be loosey-goosey. So I'm just going to kind of pull as much as I can. And I'm going to take my crimping pliers, and I'm going to flat crimp my crimp bead. Goldie's sniffing and snorting over there. I'm not giving her enough attention, I guess. She doesn't bark. She doesn't make any noise except for when she's hungry or if she wants attention. Sometimes, just sometimes, she'll sneeze to get my attention. But she never barks. She never cries. She doesn't do anything. She's the most quiet dog I've ever met in my life. And that's really saying something for a Chihuahua. So we'll get in there after we flat crimp and cut our wires. Okay, and then we'll close our culotte. You could just do that with your fingers. And we'll go ahead and see, this one has a little bit of a gap, but there's no worry there. Like, we can just move that down a little bit. So there is our earring, and then I'm going to put it on an ear wire, if I can find my ear wires. If you don't like that, you can find smaller like seed beads or something to put in there. You're not going to notice it once it's on an ear. Okay, and I need to put pliers. And we'll just slip that, our culotte, onto our earring wire. Oh, now she came over to me because she wants some attention. And we'll close it up. And here's our earring. which I think it's very boho, very relaxed, very fun. So I like that. I think those are super cute. What do you think? Another thing you could do is get a bead a crimp cover, and you could cover that little bit of area there. I think once, with a little bit of finagling, once this loosens up a little bit, it'll be fine. Plus, we're like right up on it and you can see it, but back here it's not something that you can see. So I really love those. I think they're so cute. Now, since I did two pieces that were really just with for the most part, just with the box, I'm going to do another piece that I think it shows me incorporating some items from my stash, and I'll be okay. So I found this agate in my stash, and this is from Wendy. It is multicolored blossom agate. I got this from her last year, and I added a bail to it. So it's just a pinch bail. You take the bail, you open it up, you stick it through the hole, and then pinch it closed. So I added a bail to it. You can use a jump ring. You can bead it onto your wire, whatever you want to do. I'm going to use these large purple beads. I'm going to use the gray beads, the silver beads that came in the kit. And then I'm going to use two different kinds of beads that are not in the kit, along with my pendant to tie everything together. I'm going to, and I don't know what these are. I think they're probably some type of jasper, but I thought they fit well. And then I have two different, this is going to be kind of similar to the other necklace we did, but it's a pendant and just different colors. So I think I'm going to use, I don't know if I have enough of these. We'll try. Otherwise I could use these, but I think I'm going to go with the smaller, lighter color. So I'm going to actually, I don't need the bead board that has the markings, because it's really just a pattern that we're not really laying out very much. I'm going to spill out a bunch of these, or all of them, I should say. I'm going to cut open my beads, and I'm actually going to use gold wire for this. You could use knotting cord, you could use whatever you want to use. And then I am just going to, like we did with the other one, create a pattern, but using 3 beads instead of, well, using 3 big beads and the seed beads instead of 2 beads and the seed beads. So let's see where we can go from here. I'm just going to take everything off because we don't know how much we're going to use, and then I can just put them all in a baggie later if I need to. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't even know where these beads came from, these stone beads. No idea. Usually I remember, but I have no clue. Maybe Tucson, or maybe somebody sent them to me, I'm not sure. I feel bad. Okay. This one I'm going to actually make a longer necklace. So this one, the last one was more collarbones or more like mid-chest, but this will be lower. This will hang lower, I should say. Okay, I'm going to grab my beading wire, and first I want to develop a pattern. I like starting small and then going big. So I think what we'll do, the pattern will be start with a seed bead, move to, start with a seed bead, move to a gray bead, seed bead, our jasper, what I hope is jasper, then our purple bead, then another seed bead. And this is just such a basic pattern. It's just such a basic pattern. It's really just showing you, how you can put a necklace together really quickly. And then we'll go back to another seed bead and the gray bead. So I will, in regular motion, start, and then we'll through the magic of the camera, speed it up. So we'll start with the seed bead. Most of the time, seed beads can be more economical than bead caps or regular spacer beads, and you get a ton of them. So there, you can probably get several pieces out of one tube of seed beads, whereas if you're buying bead caps or spacer beads, you might only get a couple pieces. So something to keep in mind. Okay, so here is our pattern, and then I will speed it up after I show you. There we go. Very simple, but it's still really pretty. And this muted purple and the gray work really well with these neutral tones. So I'll go ahead and speed it up, and we'll come back once I get to the middle. Okay, so I've beaded up one side of the necklace, and I don't know how long it is. I'll probably leave that end undone for now until I decide how long I really want to make the necklace. And then I have put my pendant on the necklace, and then I'm just going to go and recreate the rest going up the other side. Okay, I picked a gold toggle out of my stash, and I'm just going to crimp on like we did with the other necklace. Doesn't matter which side you put the toggle on. Put your crimp on first, then your toggle, and you can use a jump ring here if you don't want to crimp directly onto your toggle, but I don't have an issue with it. Come back down through a couple of these beads, and the hole on the seed bead is a little small, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm just going to make sure that I come back down through my crimp bead. Grab my crimping pliers, put the crimp in the valley, the largest one, and then kind of slide that up. Make sure your wires aren't crossed. Turn 90 degrees. Crimp again, and crimp again. Okay, I'm going to do the other side, and I'll be right back. Okay, and here is our finished necklace. I am super pleased with it. It's really pretty, and it's perfect for layering. I could layer just a chain with it. I could layer another beaded necklace. Because it's more neutral, I could use a brighter color like turquoise or something like that. I'm really pleased with it, and it's simple, right? And I think sometimes simple might seem too easy, but it looks great. And we use the same technique to put a focus on the beads by using the seed beads in both projects, but came up with two completely different necklaces, right? And then we have our pair of earrings. So we have a ton, and I do mean a ton of beads left. Let's see. I'll put everything back in my box here. So I have like 6 of those left. I have this whole strand, this whole strand, this whole strand. We have several strands left. We have a lot of our supplies left. We have most of this strand left. All of our nice spacer beads that came with the box. Our clasps, more purple beads, more teal beads. Yeah, there's a ton left. And our memory wire. I didn't even use a head pin in this project, so there are tons of projects left, especially if you mix in your own beads. So I hope I gave you some ideas to extend your stash and use your new beads if you got this curated bead box. Again, it's $20 with shipping, and then, or including shipping, I should say, and then you can get 35% off of your first box, your first subscription, by using the code TURQUOISE35 at curatedbeadbox.com. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Stay tuned for Goldie. She's super cute. Bye-bye. Hey, cutie. Hey, cutie. Hi. Are you ignoring me? Goldie. Goldie. Don't ignore Mom. Come here. Goldie. Goldie. Come here. You can't see it, but she's kicking her legs. Come here. Come here. Goldie. You were so stubborn. She was just climbing all over me, and because I ignored her, now she's ignoring me. Goldie, come see Mommy. You're such a brat.